welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at this. So this is The Little Mermaid. This is the 2023 live action remake of the 1989 Disney film. That's that. So this was beautifully shot, particularly the underwater scenes. And it was wonderfully acted. Halle Bailey did a phenomenal job, as did all the other actors. And Melissa McCarthy apparently learned how to sing, because she didn't know she could. And she does a halfway decent job. And she did her research by studying drag queens, which, yes, is what Ursula is based on. She's based on a specific drag queen called the Divine, back in the 80s, that was known by Howard Ashman, who was the composer of the music, who was gay and died of AIDS, I think, when they were working on Aladdin. So he was, I don't know whether it was either Little Mermaid or the Beauty and the Beast, where he was very, very sick. But he was the one who ushered in the Disney Renaissance. So that would be Howard Ashman. He, as I mentioned in the original, he took a lot of the formula from Broadway musicals and put them in there. And as with, and I mentioned this in my media review, this is not a movie about a little girl who gives up a teenage girl, she's about 16, everything for a boy. She doesn't. She sings the song Part of Your World, at least in the original. I'm trying to think if she had seen him yet in the live action. But she's always been obsessed with humans. I mean, it starts off, she's obsessed with humans. She's obsessed with ships. She trades everything to be human. The boy's a mean to an end. As much as she loves Eric, he is a means to an end. He is the only way she can become human. In the original, it's the only way she can get a human soul. The only way she actually gives up everything for love is in the Shelley Duvall version of Fairy Tale Theater. Yes, that will be covered. I've already filmed it. It's in this disc here, so you can look forward to that. That is the only version that I of the three Little Mermaids, 4 if you count the original tale, where she actually gives up everything for love. And then, of course, in the original, as well as the Fairy Tale Theater version, she dies. But you can check out my book review for that, to the explanation. That's already done. But back to this. So, again, Ariel is obsessed with humans. Period. That's what The Little Mermaid is about. It's about a girl who gives up everything for a pair of legs and a chance to live on land and be human. Now, why I do agree that everything was beautifully acted, I have just recently rewatched Part of Your World sung by both Halle Bailey and I believe it's Jodie Bronson. I may mispronounce it, but that's the original voice actress of Ariel. And the one sung by Jodie Bronson flows. It flows very, very well. Because she was there able to work with Howard Ashman and the composer, though I believe the composer was here, and they were formulating the song. It fits with her vocal range and how she sings. and her mannerisms. Halle Bailey is trying to recreate that with a song that was not formulated for her singing style or her vocal range, so it sounds off. There are some unnatural pauses. There are high notes where they're just a tad too high, and it doesn't match. As much as she's trying, it's not like she's singing off tune or anything. It's just the song was originally designed to be sung by somebody else, and they didn't change the musicality of it to fit the way she sings and her vocal range. And I'm sure there are ways they could have slightly tweaked it where you couldn't notice, but by not doing that, I noticed. And I don't have a good musical ear. I noticed some of the unnatural pauses and just some of the high notes that didn't quite fit with the music. This has nothing to do with her. She's a phenomenal singer. She's a great actress. This has to do with the filmmakers, who I'm sure probably were trying. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of studio interference involved in this, not wanting to change the tune and the song at all. But it didn't work. Halle Bailey is singing to a song that wasn't designed for her beautiful vocal range, which was, she can definitely sing higher than Jodie Bronson, and the way she sings and speaks. So it does not, it sounds off because of the way the music was designed and how they didn't take the time to tweak it to fit what she was doing. Now, they did have to stop and start with this because it was being filmed. It started being filmed in 2020, and obviously everything's ground to a halt. But that's not an excuse. They have the technology to mess around with this. Even in post-production, they can mess around. You're not messing around with her voice. You're messing around with the music. So, but that is my opinion. It's still beautiful, and she sings phenomenally. But, again, it sounds off. So, let's move on to the other song that I was listening to, which is Under the Sea. Now, the music and the singing are mostly fine for that. Halle Berry shouldn't be singing in this. Because as the character Ariel, she's being sung to. She also doesn't run off with Flounder. Not to mention, Flounder's absent in both of these for some reason in the live action. He's very much involved. She's dancing around with him in the animation in Part of Your World. And he's definitely present in the Under the Sea. The other thing is Sebastian was the orchestra conductor in the original, not the king's advisor. And when he's singing to Ariel, he is using the aquatic musicians that he has. And when he's singing to Ariel in this, the lyrics don't match up. There's no sturgeon. There are rays, but there is no sturgeon. And he's has to sing a low note that would originally belong to somebody else. And there's other members of his orchestra that are singing and playing with him. And he's talking about them. And they don't show up. They also show things that are not Caribbean fish. I know this is the imagination, but this giant vampire squid's gonna stand out to anybody who understands oceans. They're a deep sea squid. They're not gonna be on a Caribbean reef. There's a heck of a lot of jellyfish too. I mean, that's not normally a good sign of a healthy ocean, is a lot of jellyfish. Um, just not. I think there was also a few other weird fish that did not belong there. So it's like, yeah. But again, also, they also had turtles crawling along the bottom, which one, they don't do that. And they were talking about other things that had nothing to do with turtles. And again, Ariel's not supposed to sing in this because he's trying to convince her not to be obsessed with the human world. So it's the music is fine. The animation is beautiful. They don't match. They don't match at all. And it's very, very obvious because, again, Sebastian is singing about what's on screen. And in this, it's not there. And so it doesn't work. It's beautiful. Separate, they're fantastic, but they don't fit. The other interesting thing about this, this is as this deviates from the original, is Ariel's not allowed to go to the surface in this. In the original, she goes to the surface. You see her at the surface. That's how she meets Scuttle. How would she meet a bird that doesn't? Yes, she swims in this because she's a cormorant, but they don't stay a lot. They're just diving. They're not penguins. They dive for fish and then they come out. They can't hold their breath. They're not penguins. So she wouldn't have interacted with a bird all that much that's diving into the water for like 30 seconds. Apparently they show it swimming around. No. No, no. It's not the way it works. It's a bird, not a penguin. Though a penguin is in fact a bird, but that's an aquatic bird. It cannot fly. A cormorant can. It's a flying bird. So, it can dive, but not, it doesn't hold the water for very long. So she not being able to go to the surface is kind of weird. Again, in the original tale, she's able to go to the surface for the first time when she turns 15. And after that, there's no restriction. So in this, her father thinks believe her mother died, because of humans. So he is very, very strict. Also in this, and this was shelved from the original, Ursula and Titan are siblings, and he banishes her. So she really hates her brother, and she wants his power. So there's that. Ariel also saves herself in this. So in the final scene where, in the original, Eric drove the ship into Ursula to kill her, Ariel does this in this. So she saves herself and then she saves him. And then she goes back to the sea. So the other thing that I do not like is Ariel's wardrobe. Now, for reasons, unknown reasons, extremely irritating reasons, there's a corset tightening scene. Why? There doesn't need to be a corset tightening scene in this. Or ever. In anything. It wasn't a thing. They did not prevent themselves from breathing. They also didn't wear them against their skin. That would be uncomfortable. It would be like demonstrating, showing a bra as a torture device. Now, I admit bras can be torture devices, particularly for women who are far more endowed than I am. But they're not supposed to be. So, yeah, that's what a corset was. It was a foundation garment. It was a piece of underwear. It was not supposed to be uncomfortable. Tight lacing was really not a thing, except for the uber rich. And Ariel is not that, and yes, Eric may be a prince, but she's still a commoner. And apparently he was adopted, so he's technically not blood royalty either. And yes, his mother is in this, who doesn't exist. She's African American as well. Again, it's not a thing in this universe. It's similar to when Brandy and Whitney Houston did um, Cinderella. It's not an in-universe thing. Um, so she did not. The mother is a completely new character. She is not in the film, in the original at all. I think she replaces the. No, no, they still have the cook. Um, Nonetheless, the land scenes were bland, not acting, color, particularly Ariel's clothing in that. It just, yeah, it had a similar color palette than the original, but for some reason it was duller. It felt duller. It felt less, particularly Ariel's clothing. I also really don't like at the end, major spoiler here, if you haven't seen a nearly 2-year-old film, she shows up to see Eric in a tattered dress. You do not get to see her wedding dress in this. And basically she shows up in the tattered dress that he set kind of on the ocean when he was, after she had saved him, after he had killed Ursula. So, and yeah, it's just, I don't like the clothing in this. It's very not what I expect of Disney. Because Disney's normally really great with their fashion. And the underwater scenes are beautiful. On land, it's just, yes, there's more color in this time period. I think it was showing somewhere in like the 1890s or something. Synthetic dyes were practically a thing, even in the Caribbean. They existed. Not to mention they had natural dyes. It was colorful. It was not this bland. It just wasn't. So yeah, didn't like that. I don't mind that they cut out the whole chef attacking the crab. It would not have fit with the tone of this. I like the fact that they gave Eric a personality and they had stuff in common. They're both obsessed with basically worlds that are not their own. So, and Eric's mother is trying to confine him in the same way that Titan is trying to confine Ariel. So they bond over overprotective parents and the need to explore different worlds. And it ends rather with them leaving and going on a ship. So you see them after their wedding. And you have Titan doing that. I also don't like the fact that you don't see Ariel transform back into her legs with Titan. You see him putting his trident onto the water. And you have the iconic line of, the only problem now is how much I'm going to miss her. But you don't see her walk out of the water into Eric's arms. Instead, he's sitting moping in his castle, playing fetch with his dogs. All of a sudden, his dog doesn't come back, and he turned around, and there she's standing in a tattered dress. I don't like this. I don't. I know that the dress she steps out of in the original is sparkly and skimpy and very, very, very late 80s. And almost kind of Jessica Rabbit-ish kind of thing. But still, they could have done something better. Triton could have put her in some sort of at least halfway decent clothing here. It's not good. Ursula was done. Melissa McCarthy did a pretty good job. I would have rather had it done by an actual drag queen. And McCarthy, I think, has commented of how she has no idea how on earth she got the part. Particularly since they didn't know she could sing, and neither did she. She worked with a vocal coach. And she does actually sing pretty good. I mean, she does all her own singing. They were probably planning on dubbing her, possibly. Which is in fact done still these days. It's just not a secret like it was in the past. So, in a lot of some of the original Disney films. So, where they would do dubbing, even a lot of the rather live action things like My Fair Lady, which was dubbed. So, but nonetheless, she did a good job. Hairstyle reminds me a lot of what Rosie O'Donnell looks like now, with the very, very short, spiky hair. I have no idea why her tentacles are glowing or how her eel suddenly became electric. Because that's not an ocean thing. There are electric eels. They don't live in the ocean. They look like morays in this. Moray eels are not electric. They have nasty teeth, but they're not electric and they cannot kill you. And she kills Triton in this. Rather than turning him into some sort of, I don't know what the heck they are in the animation. There's some weird like green seaweed. So, and that's how she gets his Triton. In this, she's going to kill Ariel with the suddenly electric moray eels. And Triton gives his life for her and then turns to dust. It's a little weird. She didn't necessarily want to kill him. She just wanted to own him and take his power. She could have used magic to turn him into something else, like she did in the animation. So, yeah. That was a thing. And then all of a sudden, his Triton hits the ground under the water, and he's suddenly back. And then she picks up the Triton and gives it back to her father. And tells him, it's like, I'm not the only one. He's like, you risk your life for me. And he says, and you did the same. And you risked your life to save mine. So, and then she's like, I didn't do it alone. Eric was with me. So, and then of course, I'm assuming there's some sort of weird cutscene where he gets Eric back to land. Because then he shows up back on land. And with her tattered dress. And his mother saying, it's like, I was wrong. So, yeah, that's the thing. Ariel also saves herself with this, with one of the sunken ships, rather than Eric saving her. Which is this is a good change. But again, I don't like the fact that you don't see the wedding. I don't like the fact that, now in the original, the wedding is taking a place, wedding to, Vanessa and Eric, who's again under a spell, is happening on a ship in the water. In this, it happens on the kind of the balcony of their castle by the ocean. So, it's 9:14 at night. So, and I have a kid. Nonetheless, I'm not sure I really liked it. And again, I don't like the fact that they don't have Ariel's wedding scene at all. I just wish they would have done better with the fashion. I really do. I did love the acting. I loved Eric. He was the actor who did him, and Halle Bailey was phenomenal. Jonah, I'm going to mispronounce it, Hauer-King, was Eric, and God, he was very, very good. Melissa McCarthy did a fantastic job as Javier, as did, I'm just going to pronounce him, the actor who played King Triton. So, it was absolutely, utterly fantastically acted. So, and I love Eric in this. I love Ariel in this. She gives a lot to it. The Kiss the Girl song is done very, very well. But again, you have that missing component of the fact that Sebastian is a composer or is a conductor. So he's utilizing the fish that he knows that are around to create the music. But I love how they gotten Eric smarter. And again, he has a personality. Let's face it. Um, the animation princes until you hit Aladdin, who's the star of his own movie, and then Jasmine doesn't have a personality. The princes do not have a personality at all. Even the beast, it's like he's either gentle or a raging monster. So there's that. He has no real personality. um, so, and again, similar to the original film, the story arcs and the people who have to change. In this, it's Eric's mother and King Triton. In the original, it was King Triton. He had to learn to let his daughter grow up. She's not an obnoxious teenager, and in this, neither is he. They're just trying to grow up, and their parents need to let them go. So, and I think Sebastian says that in this. So, but fabulous film. I really did enjoy it. I highly recommend it. This is, in fact, oh, and my daughter, however, damaged the case because 5. Impulsive and 5. I don't agree with a lot of the criticisms of this. I don't agree with the criticisms of the acting. Again, my criticisms come with the 2 main songs, and that's because they didn't formulate the song to fit Halle Bailey's voice. They were probably told by Disney's producers, do not change the song at all, when they probably should have. And the animation and the singing of Under the Sea do not match together. The words and what you see on screen do not match together. It is beautifully shot. And again, I don't like the lack of color in the on scene, in the on land scenes. The castle's gorgeous. I love that. It's beautiful. I love how they get along and their personalities. I hate the corset scene. Sorry, I hate the corset scene. I hate all corset scenes. Please stop them. Animators. Filmmakers. Stop it. Corsets are not evil. Any more than bras are, which yes, can in fact be evil. But nonetheless, they are an undergarment. And stop showing them being put on bare skin. It's irritating. You should know better by now. So that is it for this review. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I am doing Mermaids the month of April. Yes, this being said, filmed in February. I don't know where the heck I'm at. Again, I have a 5-year-old. So, she's a handful. But nonetheless, I will be doing Mulan 2, the live action Mulan, possibly Moana and Moana 2 next month. I may move things around a little bit. And I don't know if I can get a copy of Moana 2. As of right now, it literally just came out. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a copy of it. I will try. My daughter will make me. So, nonetheless, like and subscribe. Check out what I've got. I am doing princesses this year. I've already covered Brave and Frozen. I did The Lion King because I've already done Princess and the Frog. I'm doing Cinderella again. I've already done her. I've done Beauty and the Beast in the past as well. There's a lot of Cinderella going on because there's just a lot. So, and I'm covering Asian, particularly folklore, particularly the Monkey King next month. So, and I covered a lot of Celtic folklore last month and African folklore and a few other things. So we're going to go back to Cinderella and we're going to cover all the rest of the Disney princesses with the exception of Beauty and the Beast, already done. The early stories, the original Brothers Grimm and the French version, whose name I can't pronounce, of Cinderella because it's already been done. The Princess and the Frog, because I've already done it. So you can check out those videos now if you so please. So like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.